Greetings, and salutations to all my friends out there. This is Jeff. This is not your fault. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. IMYF family, you guys have been amazing. I've been putting out some good content recently. You guys are giving me some good feedback. I appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about how to speak to your loved one without actually losing yourself in the conversation. But before we do that, of course, beep, bop, boo, like, subscribe, comment, notification bell, all that stuff there. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how do you have a conversation with your loved one about their situation without losing yourself in the situation. And I stress to you, it's very important, words do matter, that when we have a conversation about our loved one's addiction, if discussing it with somebody else, using the term my alcoholic or my addict or my qualifier, you do not own their addiction. Okay, you do not own them. So do not refer to them by their disease. That's ridiculous. That's like referring to somebody, my leukemia or my diabetes or my this or my that. It does. See how silly it sounds when you say it that way? You don't own their disease. Don't refer to them by the disease. Don't strip them down to their disease. They're a human being. They're your loved one. Your loved one. Refer to them as your loved one. Don't refer to them in the context of my addict or my qualifier or my alcoholic, because it strips them down to a subhuman. Okay, they're not subhuman. They're not just a disease. They're your loved one. Speak to them that way. Words do matter. So that out of the way. So when you're talking to your loved one, and again, the contents is to not lose yourself when speaking to them. What we want to try and do is we want to try and speak to them as if you would want to be spoken to. So we don't be accused. We're not accusatory. We're not overbearing. We don't want to be pointing fingers or blame or trying to have them accept responsibility for different things. That's the approach you're taking. What you're trying to do is make yourself look better, that you're right and they were wrong. They know they're wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know it. Okay, of course they do. These are not stupid people. They're being people being controlled by a horrible disease that unfortunately controls a lot of their thinking, their acting, the things they think, things they say, whatever. These are all things that are unfortunately part of addiction. They make you act like the person you're not actually remembering. So when we talk to somebody about their addiction or just about their situation, okay, you don't want to maybe point finger and say, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you're this, you're that. Maybe you can approach them with just a different perspective, maybe, or a different approach of how do you think you are doing right now in life? Where do you want to be in a year? Is this where you wanted to be a year from last year? Of course, those answers, if they're being honest, which they, when it comes down to their addiction, they're probably going to be pretty honest as far as their fallibility and their vulnerability. So we can just go ahead and chalk it up to when you speak to somebody about their situation, you don't want to lose yourself, because when that happens, you get drugged down into the abyss with them. So you don't want to get into the finger pointing and the name calling, because that's not who you would want to be talked to. So don't lose yourself. Keep control, keep your head above the water, and maintain the conversation. If you feel you need to have the conversation, maintain the conversation in the aspect of being more of a friend than a jury, more of a friend than a accuser, more of a friend than a attorney. Don't put these people on trial. Don't put your loved one on trial. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get them help. Actually, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get themselves some help. Help them to help themselves. Okay, maybe there's an old saying: you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, you can lead your loved one to sobriety, but they don't have to take part if they don't want to. Okay, they have to make the decision. So we can lose ourselves by becoming prosecutorial. Is that a word? It is now. Finger pointing and blaming them for all they know the problems they've had in their life. They know that. They're well aware of that. You pointing it out is not going to help the situation at all. You can be a friend to them without being a hammock A couple of videos ago, we talked about hammocks, doing the difference between hammocks and safety nets. You can be a safety net in someone's life once or twice, but when they don't ever get out of the net, that becomes a hammock. They're very comfortable. So we want to get into the habit of not providing the help so much to where it becomes a constant thing. You want to help them out once, that's fine, maybe even twice. But when it becomes a habit, you are now an enabler. You are now a codependent, and you are not helping the situation whatsoever. You've become the fourth C. I've talked about the fourth C many, many times. Control, you can't control it. You didn't cause it. Can't cure it. And the fourth C, of course, is contribute. You can contribute to it. Okay. Unfortunately, that's the one C that we can do. We can contribute to their situation and make it worse. So we can give support without being. We can be supportive without giving support. I mean, financially. Of course, we can pray for them, which is a given. You should be doing that anyway. But we lose ourselves when we start pointing out all the problems in their life that they know about. Of course they do. And we lose ourselves because by pointing fingers at somebody else or trying to blame other people, we forget about the fact that we ourselves are flawed. And if we concentrate that energy of trying to convince your loved one that they're a screw up, maybe we can concentrate that energy someplace else, more constructive and more productive. Maybe work on yourself for a while. Maybe do some charity work. Maybe pray. Maybe meditate. But we lose ourselves whenever we start to look outside ourselves for other people's problems. We have enough issues. We have enough problems in our own lives. We don't need to go ahead and go elsewhere for it. We can take care of ourselves as much as we can take care of other people. In fact, I'll go a step further. We have a better chance of taking care of ourselves when we do taking care of other people, because we can't control people's behavior. We can influence it. We can make them react a certain way, but ultimately they're responsible for their own lives. And that's the big thing, right? That's the big thing. That's the thing about being an enabler and codependent is we try and manipulate their life to meet what we think is a better situation. Well, until they make the realization it's their better situation, it's pointless. It's all pointless. Don't lose yourself. If you're feeling a need to engage in a dance with your loved one about their situation, don't lose yourself. Okay, maintain your awareness of the fact that they're a separate person from you, and just because it was what you want in life doesn't mean it's necessarily what they want or not want yet. Okay, they have to get that blanket of addiction off of them first, and they'll be a much better better situation. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. Leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on. And if you would, just drop down the bleep bloop section, bleep bloop down here, and let me know if you've ever lost yourself in a situation like I'm talking about. And let me know what you did to try and get out of it, okay? God bless you all. Keep coming back to work. So if you work it, let it begin with you. By all means, say a prayer for the prayerless. Okay, guys? May God bless you. May God keep you. And have a good evening.